Recording.
Got it. Good morning again, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome. See if I can. This is not the usual setup here, so give me a minute to just. We're apparently. All right, great. Thank you so much, Mark. I think everyone that's here knows that today we're going to have a ceremony called Shukke Tokudo. Shukke Tokudo, entering the path of Soto Zen priesthood. Sometimes a person who's been practicing for a while feels called to live this life, the life of a priest, and express their practice in that way. They feel called to train in our tradition in order not only to serve in that way, but also to help sustain and carry forward this ancient way for future generations. Randy and Mark have both been committed and deep practitioners for a long time. Both have felt drawn to this life. And after much discernment and reflection on their own and with me, and in a sense in the community, they are taking this step. As their teacher, I am really happy to do this. I am happy to do this with them and to work with them in their training in years to come. So Shukke Tokudo has the meaning of leaving home to follow the way. In our tradition here, this doesn't mean leaving home and going away to a monastery for the rest of your life. Monastic training and that kind of residential intensive training is very important part of the training of Soto Zen priest. But it's not the way of one's life. Instead, Shukke Tokudo, leaving home to follow the way, has a wider, deeper sense of leaving what one has been, the identities and definitions, and placing the tradition at the center of one's life in a very specific and concrete way. To make the tradition one's home and touchstone. And to do this by training, living and serving as a priest. So please come in and have a seat, please. Welcome. I'm just speaking a little bit about what we're doing here today. So Shukke Tokudo, entering the path of Soto Zen priesthood, training, serving, being with others in that way. This is not a promotion. It's not an elevation in status. In a sense, it's just the opposite. Every person in every way is fully able to realize Buddha's way. Being a priest is not the only way to do this. Complete realization is open to everyone, no matter your life circumstances, no matter what you feel called to do. Lay or ordained makes no difference in this way. This is important to remember. The person who undertakes Shukke Tokudo steps into the path as a beginner. One of the things that you'll see, maybe today, is they're going to be getting new clothing. And anybody who's been through the process knows that you feel like a rag bag at first. Nothing works. The sleeves are too long. The skirts, if you've never worn skirts, are like, even if you have worn skirts, or if it's been maybe a few decades since you wore one, you know, they're down to your ankles. You know, you've got all this cloth, and then you've got this thing. You'll see the robe that a will later has this, like Cyrus has got one. And when you bow, it inevitably flops in your ear, and you just feel kind of hopeless at first. And that's a really wonderful thing. That's a really wonderful aspect of it, because you're starting something new. You're not expected to be an expert, because you're not. The only way to know how to be a priest is to live as a priest, and then it takes a while. So someone who steps into Shukke Tokudo, entering the path, is a beginner and is eager to learn this path, to serve in this way, to grow and train and work. This is step one. The best translation I've been able to come up with for this status, this place, is novice priest. Open, willing, eager to learn. And it's really a delight to see, and it's a delight as a teacher and as a community to help people grow in this way. No one does it on their own. It's a major step. It's a transformative step in which one commits wholeheartedly to practicing as a priest for the benefit of all. It's the practice of a lifetime. And there are different developmental stages. As I said, this is a beginner. Later on, you may take on a leadership role where you begin to talk about the Dharma, you begin to support people more directly. One of our dear friends, Ryuki, is going to be doing this in March. And another dear friend, Cyrus, just completed this process. It's called Shiso. That comes in a while. There's no set form or stages to this. And then sometimes people grow into teachers. That takes a while, takes years. And when that process happens, you go through something called Dharma transmission, and you take your place as a teacher. As with everything, it is wholehearted engagement in this step, this life, right now, not what may come in the future. That's the most important thing. We know this in whatever we're doing, right? Whatever we're doing, wholeheartedly engaging in this is what's life-giving, what carries us. This is how we express our deep practice. So I thought what I would do now is describe a little bit about this ceremony. Would you like to hear a little bit? Just so you can know something of what we're doing. So the first thing that will happen is I will come in and offer incense and do vows. And then there's a little cup up here of water, and I do something with it. And then I sprinkle it all around the room. This is a way of marking sacred space. Many traditions use water in this way. And we kind of say this for now, this is our zendo, so it always has this function, but for now we're going to create this space for us to be in. And then while that's happening, the ordainees and their guide for the day, will be standing out there and they'll be saying very softly, Om Namu Shakyamuni Butsu. Om means honor. Namu means name, return to, rely on. Shakyamuni Butsu is the Buddha. So they're quietly putting themselves into the place of receiving this ordination. And then they come in and they offer, we're using lavender buds for this, because otherwise I'll be using some incense later and we wouldn't be able to breathe after a while. And then they do 3 bows and then they stand at their place. And then I do an invocation. And then you're all asked to join in with the homages. And the homages are the homages to all the Buddhas. And you'll get a sheet, if you haven't had one already, that has all the chants on it that you can participate in. If you're uncomfortable chanting these things, don't do it. It's okay. You know, we each, you know, one of the things about our Zendo is we are open to all people of all faiths. Come share with us. If it has meaning for you, please take it on. But we never ask anyone to sign on the dotted line until you say, I want to sign on the dotted line. And then you do. So, you know, years ago, Shinchu and I went and saw someone we knew, a friend of ours, be baptized at a Catholic church. And we were like wholeheartedly there. But there were parts of the chants that we thought we cannot say this. This is not our faith. So please feel comfortable to participate in whatever way you want. We give you the chance so that you can do it if you feel like it. And then I say a few words about ordination. And I'll say a welcome statement, very short version of what I'm giving to you now, because there may be people that come just for the ordination. And then the ordinees do vows of gratitude to family and friends, to Shinchu Roberts, Reverend Shinchu Roberts, the co-teacher here, and to me. There's a short chant, and then I get up and I go to them, and each of them has a little patch, you might notice, little patch of hair in the back of their heads, not that big. It's called the Shura. And the Shura is like the last attachment. You know how we all have that last attachment? So you go into this and you have this last attachment. And this first time, I just kind of take a little bit off, kind of like, you ready? Take a little bit off. And I have a verse that I say, and then everyone again is invited to join in. Then I come back and sit down and have another thing, few words that I say. And then the next thing that happens is the ordinees receive their karoma, this robe. And they come up and I give it to them, and each time I give them something, I incense it. Again, smells, incense, smoke. This is something that's used in many traditions. And then they put it on with some help from our 2 esteemed friends. And they say a chant. Or maybe they don't. No. So they get dressed. And then once they get this on and they're ready, I go back again and I say, are you ready? Are you sure about this? Do you really want to do this? And they say, yes, I am, or yes, I do, or yes, I will. I can't remember. Yes, I do. When they've said that, all bets are off. I cut the Shura, free from attachment, enter this life. Then I say a few words, they say a few words, then after I sit back down again, and then I say their ordination names, which are the same names that they were given when they took the precepts originally. And then I give them, they come up again and I give them a bowing cloth. Where's
Like this. Well,
Oh, sorry, it's still there, like this, okay? It folds out like this. And they do a chant, and then they bow, and then they come back up again, and I give them a new raksu. The raksu, as you can see, it looks like a little bib. Peg, would you stand up for a second? See, turn around so people can see. You don't have to take it off, just turn around all the way around so people can see. That's a small version of Buddha's robe, and it's what people receive when they take the precepts and enter the Buddhist path. And then as a priest, they receive a new one, which they have sewn, right? So then they take this back to their seats, they have a short chant, and then they hand the raksus, and we put them on the, this is Kenon, this is the Bodhisattva of compassion. And then they come back up again, and they receive the kesa, which is this large robe, which they have also sewn. Every stitch, every single stitch, Namuke Butsu, I take refuge in Buddha. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. They go back, have say another verse, and then they put the kesa on. They put it on their heads and say the robe chant, which again, you're welcome to join in if you'd like. And after they say it once, and then they'll have lots of help getting into the robe the first time. And they do 3 bows. And then they're given their oryoki bowls. So these are bowls, as you probably know, in the early Buddhist ordained people, they have a big bowl and they beg for their food and they eat only what is put in that bowl. And it can be like a combination of strawberry shortcake and curry. So this is like, I'm just going to nourish this body with whatever's given to me. We don't do that. We have a set of bowls and they're quite lovely. And they are Buddhist bowls. They're not kind of Buddhist bowls, just as this is Buddha's robe. This is not representing Buddha's robe or kind of like Buddha's robe. It is Buddha's robe, so it's treated with great respect. So they receive their oryoki, and then they take them back and say a short verse. And I give them to Ryuki-san, who places them. And then they take the precepts. So this sounds like a long time. It's not so long. Okay. And I want you all to make yourself comfortable. So this is where I say something and they agree. They actually come up and offer incense, basically saying, will you do this for me? Will you give me the precepts? And I say something, and there's a short chant, and I say something more. Don't you love it? We never have kids here on Saturday. We never, no, it's okay. It's kind of like, this is life, right? And then we go through a series of this is why we become a priest or become practitioners, right? It's like the world is howling and we say, oh, let me show you a way let me show you a way. So then there's a whole series of chants and responses, and Cyrus I'll say something and then he'll hit clackers and then the ordainees respond. And I have a few things to say and we go through that for a little while. And basically this is the ordainee saying, I'm aligning my life with this way of life. I'm saying publicly, you can call me on this. I vow not to steal. I vow not to lie. I vow not to take what is not given. I vow to speak with kindness. So this is in this, when people take the precepts, whether lay or ordained, this is saying, I'm aligning myself with this way of life. And you have permission to tell me if I'm off. Right? This is a public statement. So we go through that. And then at the end of that, there's one final thing that I give to the ordainees. And that's called a Kechumyaku. And this is a document. It's about like this big. And it has the Buddhas and ancestors in it. And there's a bloodline, goes all the way through the Buddhas and ancestors down to my teacher, Hakuryu Sojun Daiyosho, to me, and then to them. And then it goes back up again to Buddha. So it's like a living bloodline. And it's folded up like this. So this is a bloodline. I'm stepping into this. I'm taking these precepts. It has my name on it, completely given, and their name. Okay. Then they take this, then I say a few words, they tuck it in here, go back to their place and do 3 vows in which they say, thank you very much. Okay. And I have a few more words to say about ordination. We have a final chant that we all do, and I'll say some thanks. And then I'll get up and do 3 vows, and the ordainees will do 3 vows with me. And then we have a party. So this is the outline. And as you can see, it's both detailed and generous. It's about welcoming, it's about supporting, and it's done with all of us participating. It's not a private thing that happens just with one person. The whole Sangha and friends and family, everyone is a part of this. So we were visiting recently with friends. One of whom is a local rabbi. And she was telling us about her own ordination and having hands laid on her. That's what's happening here. We're all laying hands on these 2 people. And we're saying, be with us, take this path. We're here for you. We want to support you. Let's do this together. Okay? So, and now these 2 fellows are dear friends, and the ordainees are going to leave and go